What's going on, YouTubes? Time for a recap. So, as we got into it today, if you remember the recaps or the last few videos, we had a couple concerning things to the downside. We actually peaked into one right here at 21,153.93. Way back when, a few days back, we had a triple 15-minute no GP. 1, 2, 3 of these bad boys, which means if you draw a Fibonacci from the high and the low, the golden pocket was never tagged on these bad boys, right? So we charted those off. A few days ago, and I put a price level at 21,153.93 for something to watch just in case we were heading back down, right? And I wanted to see at least one of them tag. It's always what you want in a triple no fill, right? And that brings us to today. So at the end, right, we had that wash, the Moody wash. We had the gap down open, comes back up, fills, bounces off that 2618 weekly, and resistance continued. And then, of course, it came into the first golden pocket of the candles we just covered. So we had a couple different over-unders to watch, which we'll go over on the ETFs as well, which were good magnets and our golden levels that we always use. But if you come over again to today's action, see if I draw a Fibonacci point right there, no GP, right? Same thing. If I draw a Fibonacci point on the 15, no GP. Same thing. You get it, right? So we had, again, 3 of these bad boys here. So woke up and was watching it right around this 4:35 a.m. mark. And I'm like, yeah, we're coming right into that 15-minute GP that we had left open days prior. So I seen this guy right here. And then, of course, we seen some 15s up here. And the Moody dump and 15 even way up here. So we said most likely we're going to trace back up to these no-tag GPs. So let's take a peek at that whole range. So sometimes when I get that many no GP tags, I'll fib out the range. And the thing about Fibonacci is it's not what's the best one, what works, what's this? No, it doesn't matter. All of them work. It's not if they work, it is when they're going to work. So if you were to take off this whole zone right here, and which, fibs are going to be very close, we're going to change these neon green. There we go. So we can see it. So the whole fib box is here. Came out of the range, 1618, came back up to no tag. If you pay attention to these no tag levels, it is extremely important for the price action when you draw a Fibonacci box to come to the 1618 and then retrace to the 100 after it had hit the 1618. It's supposed to come back up here to the 100, but it did not. We came up and shied it, got stuck at the VWAP in the purple, and checked resistance all the way back down, and then shied the 2618. So it got interesting down here. Psychological levels, 21,150, 21,125, starting to hold there after an all after hours dippy. And then we left another 15-minute no-tag GP right here. And I'm like, okay, well, we have a lot of sauce to the upside. So let's move into the QQQ. And we used our over-unders, like always, and our golden high lows of the prior day. So let me set that up real quick. So yesterday's lows, yesterday's highs. And, of course, that is Friday. And what we do is we turn those gold, as always. And let's look at some confirms here. So the Moody candle right here, big after hours dump. This is one thing that we were looking at very tentatively in our group this morning because we didn't get a full-on wash under the 1618 we talked about on YouTube. So let me turn those neon green. You can kind of see what happened. Now, let's move this in. Okay, so the Moody candle right here, the dump, which again, it shook it off, no big deal. Came all the way down to almost the 3618 in pre-market, right? And it opened up directly on the 2618. Now, what you're going to notice here as you zoom in, your golden levels, right, which are yesterday's high-low pointed to the downside, is going to net us 514.26 for the 161 extension, right? And that's from yesterday's high-low right here. That overlaps pretty much perfectly with the Moody's 15, right? At the end, at the wash ski, right? All right, so we had a massive amount of support. So the first thing I wanted to see was long up into those 15 no-minute tags, right? So over under became the 1618 and 2618, and we also had a very interesting gap right here that we did not fill. So when we come back down, we have some really good targets. Now, what you wanted to see from the overlap pop, right? And I said, well, if we get up to yesterday's lows, fill the gap, it's going to become the over under, right? So we had a huge squeeze out of the gate. We went to yesterday's lows. So we had to move our sentiment up, and we said yesterday's lows up to the golden pocket would be the long scenario. And then if it, for whatever reason, finally grasped some resistance and turn around under the golden pocket, and we could start to see, heading back down. And what I wanted to see here, because we didn't actually get a real tag of this, which again is very interesting because we're going to have some heavy manipulation to deal with, which is fine. We are confirmation traders. Manipulation never scares us. So I'm going to break it down to the 5-minute here, okay? And now again, yesterday's lows became the over-under because of our pop at support open. Came up, hit the lows, fired away all the way up to GP. Okay, so the gold levels are yesterday's GP. And I said, well, if it stays under, and again, you're going to see the golden 38.20, 519.94 up here, and 520, which is the golden pocket of the Moody candle, right? After hours, Friday. I'm going to delete the gold, make it a little easier to see, focus on the green. And right where this interesting algo came in, which is, again, just kind of an algo flip switch, right? Perfect resistance, double topping, could easily come down from the GPs and complete a move, especially after what? We always say 10:30, 11 a.m. Central area. That's when the EU closes and the algos can let loose, right? Or change direction or continue. Well, you see right here, they got wound tight, and she just snapped up over yesterday's highs and then just consolidated to the top. No big deal. Our confirmation would have been underneath the golden pocket, right? And then starting to come back down. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. We use pre-market high and low levels a lot of the time if we can't find too much else in the algo world going on. And you notice right here, the pre-market high, pre-market low are in the blue. They're auto-calculated. Any members that ever join up with BRT, link is in the description. We have TOS indicators. They're all free for us in our chat. So if you see that breakover right here, notice it never came back down. We're confirmation traders. When confirmation happens, we look for a break over a level and a back test of that level before it continues, right? Confirming the trend, confirming support, so on and so forth. Well, we got a break over there with no real back test. So I'm going to make a little note of that for myself because I find those interesting when they don't come back. Pre-high, no confirm, back test. And today's the 19th. Oh, missed a button. So I'm going to make that very well known. Oh, did I have too many letters here? No confirm 19th. Too many words. All right, there we go. So we got a price level right here. Pre-high, no confirm on the 19th. 516.37. I want to know where that is. It's an interesting little setup. So the last but not least, little thing I wanted to cover here was because we did not fail under that GP and coming down, we get that manipulated pop and it just heavy consolidated. And these are pretty wild days. We're going to move that to the daily chart, right? We see one of those huge buy-up candles, and this acts as an engulfing now, right? So the price action of the prior day got completely bullish engulfed, and it started in a gap down and just womped up. Now, I was real adamant on seeing a couple things here on the daily chart. I really wanted to see the golden pocket of this guy, the gap candle, right? So we were very adamant on 513 in my chat as well. And this is another big piece of the pie I just wanted to show you guys where the confirms were, because we had a no GP tag, right? And look at this open, sneaky 514, right? Look at that first candle. So not only did we get trapped in the no GP tag, we just got perfectly trapped. We called that in pre-market right back here. We said we're not going to do anything but trap open and then go up or down at open. We're gonna open right near 514. We have a 1-minute algo open as well that was going to pin the price action pre-market, do exactly this, and that's what we called, which is cool. So we did miss that 514. So if you notice that daily fib, we opened up right above it. We still have a no tag GP. So when you look at the daily candle high-low, you're going to notice that all of them are still there. Now, when we look for continuation now from here, there's a couple things that I want to look for now, because we shied the ones or the golden pocket. We need to look towards the 1618 now, right? Because we have this candle that is associated with a gap. It's a double gap. There's a floater, which means before it, which means there's a gap below and a gap above. 512 candle is a floater. The one after that is a gap up, and then 517.40, right, becomes ultimate support once it breaks back over. And we were just so close to that magnet, perfect little magnet, right, of the GP. But we got bought back up. Now 522.91 becomes a very interesting area, because two things are going to happen here, and this is what I'm going to look for the carrying over of the next day. If we happen to be above the 522.91, let's say we get a big old scam force up, and we just kind of sit like this, I'd actually expect it to come back down with no gap fill and come back into the 1618. If it holds underneath it, then I'm probably not going to be looking for too much else besides yesterday's high-low gold, right? So we're going to have to take today's high-low, and this will auto-calculate later on. We'll have to redraw it tomorrow for the breakdown. Did we get that candle perfect? Pretty good, within pennies. Not mustard yellow, gold. There we go. All right. So yeah, the two instances here are going to be that 523 related off the 1618 of the daily we just did. We're either going to come back up. Notice how even the after hours just had a hit of that, right? 522.91 just reacted during that futures open. Now, if we do happen to pop back up over yesterday's highs, we create another gap up, do whatever it wants to do. I got a real good sneaking suspicion that we will not do that gap up. We will not hold that. Most likely come down to at least the 1618. If we do hold the gap up, 1618 has to hold, right? So let's say price action does hold up here in the pre-market, starts coming back down, hits 1618. If it finds support right there and leaves the gap up, which would mean we're not into the orange dash line, that's going to be yesterday's highs, gold right now. And that's going to be a little higher. But once we see that move, right, that clear-cut move in the morning, we're going to see a confirmation. And when we get that confirmation, I think the magnets are going to take us back down to 523. If we are fully extended under yesterday's close and we're trapped in the body of the engulfing candle, I would fully suspect the GP. And this is just very standard stuff that we do. One thing to note about this GP high-low of today's action, right, that we have charted off, there is an algo midday, and that algo lines up perfectly with the 50. So again, if I were to high-low that algorithm, which I love to do that, I will find that 50 fib, line up perfectly at 518.38, which gives me a very good sneaking suspicion that under the close, we will net that body. But if we are above up here, I'm still going to look for that support. Continuation rally. Well, where's the last piece? Well, if we keep going up, we only got two other things happening right here. Okay, guys, there's two more GPs, right? This GP 224, this GP 221. So that Friday, Monday candle push. If we do continue up here and the squeeze continues, those are the last two things we can see, obviously before all-time high, that would be resistance targets. And we'll deal with the first tags when we get there. So I think we're going to get a little bit of a relax. I think even if we do come back up, I'm still going to dominate the short side of things. I don't see us fully dying off here. They're doing a really hardcore job pumping right now. Let's go take a peek. Might as well, because she's really riding the trends here. 21,500 was the break point, most likely. Hey, what do you know? 21,500, perfect consolidation, break and gone with the wind. So down to the VWAP and back up, it looks like. Pretty good 10 SMA as well. Well, I will say, last but not least then, I want to go to the daily on the Futes. Look where that GP is right there. So I would say if you are over 21,398.21, that GP would be a pretty solid target for you. If this mouse would ever let me. There we go, price level. Maybe those 15s. See how close we are to that GP. Oh, we're dead on it. How the heck did that not click off? Must be a little bit off, like a smidge higher. Okay, there it is. So GP tag is 21,562.46. So unfortunately, if I would have played this open, I would have noticed right here, this is what I've been in play. So let's go over this real quick too. Over yesterday's lows. Over the lows of 22.24. Sorry, it's been a long day. A lot of stuff going on in my life right now. There we go. So what I'm going to focus on is this candle right here. It's no GP daily 224. All we did was leveled off the bottom, leveled off the GP. And if I would have seen that coming into today, oh yeah, okay. So we actually squeezed right to that level, consolidated, ripped up, almost hit GP. And then today we missed it by pennies, it looks like, because obviously this is off by just a little bit. So I'd say, yeah, anything we're going to push back up most likely here, maybe even 21.6, and we'll have to start looking for the golden pocket of that candle. I don't want to see that. I'd really like for this to shy and kind of give us that a ride downside back to gap fill like we were talking about on the QQQ before it goes up, but that's that. We'll see. We did do some decent P&Ls today. On the top one, we did $1,680 some. I think it's already recalculated, so yeah, it's already gone on my live P&L thing. But we always like to show P&Ls here. I guess I could just log into the thing too, but my chat and their memes, bro. There we go. But if you want to watch me trade live, if you want to do this all day, every day with us, links in the description. You want to win some cash money every weekend, we give it away for just our subscribers, just to be awesome. All you got to do is leave a comment. Where is this? What is this? 821. So we're past that one. That was our P&L, 1257.60. We had 1600 something. There it is. Those are my ending P&Ls on the funded accounts through top ones. We did 1620.80 today on those on the P&Ls, and I'll give you guys updates as we continue. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you on the next.